Talk to me about your year and a half in the desert. I mean, figuratively, not literally.
Yeah, so I'll take you back to the start of the company. We formed Relay.App, which was not called that at the time. I'll tell you what it was called and why, in August of 2021. And the company at the time was actually called Collab AI. That was our collab as in collaboration. That was our founding and incorporation name. And the premise behind the company was twofold. And these were not observations unique to us, but these were the two observations we made. The first is that we're all using lots and lots of SaaS tools to get our work done. And it's hard to keep our workflows connected across all of them. And the second, this was, a year and a half before ChatGPT, AI is going to play an important role in connecting them. And the reason those two premises made sense for me as a founder is my background is in AI research. My previous company was an AI-powered digital calendar. I spent 6 years at Google, where I led the product teams for Gmail and Google Calendar with a particular focus on AI-powered features. So I had seen AI-powered productivity features for quite some time. And then also in my time at Google, especially in Gmail and Calendar, we were so focused on workflows within Gmail and within Calendar. Like, how do I help you reply to an email faster? Or how do I help you schedule a meeting with 3 fewer clicks? That we were totally blind to the broader opportunity of cross-app connections. So when I left Google, I wanted to, use some of that AI skill set that I and the team had built up, but apply it not to making an email client better or making a calendar client better, but to facilitating cross-app workflows. So I'm the solo founder, but I very quickly recruited a core team of my favorite engineers and designers from my time working on Gmail and Calendar. So really, really strong group of technical and design folks. We raised a seed round in August of 2021. These were the very good times. It was a $5 million seed round led by Coastal Ventures, which is the same firm that led the Series A in my previous startup. And we actually set an explicit timeline that we were going to look for a year for the product that we were going to build. And because I knew from my first experience that the first product is probably not going to be the right one. Like, hey, if it is, great, awesome. But there are very few cases where I've talked to founders where their first idea is actually the one that becomes the product. So instead of saying, here's the exact product we're going to build, the way we formed the company was, here's the founding premise, here's the 2 observations we've made about an opportunity. Let's spend a year doing disciplined experimentation to figure out what the right product is to build. And so I can rattle off a few of the things that we tried in that first year, and then what we liked about them and didn't like about them.
What was your process for deciding on that? Was it just like brainstorming, whiteboard, dartboard, whatever you felt like?
Yeah,
trying to rebuild Gmail?
For better or for worse, I and the rest of the team had a lot of experience in the productivity and collaboration space, both working at Google and working at startups. And so we had already done mountains of foundational user research as part of our previous jobs. And that's not to say that foundational research was perfect or that we had all the answers, but we had pretty good intuition of the problems that people were facing in productivity tools. And so we didn't do a bunch of desk research. Our process was more, we would pick a specific problem that we thought existed from our research and then do, mom test style interviews with 10 or 20 people to validate that the problem was real for them. But we very quickly tried to get from validating problem into validating that our prototype solution worked. Because one of the things I've noticed in productivity tools is it's maybe a little different from some other categories. In productivity tools, it's really easy to articulate the problem in a way everyone says, yeah, I have that problem. Yeah, I'm in too many meetings. Yeah, I get too many emails. Yeah, sometimes I have a hard time stopping to check my notifications when I'm having dinner with my family. It's really easy to get people nodding along with a problem statement. What's much harder is to figure out if your product actually solves it, which may not be in other industries. It may be harder to get to that really deep pain point, but then easier to solve it once you've identified it. And so for us, prototyping and actually seeing if we could build a product that would solve the problem and that we could communicate how it solved the problem in a concise way was at least as important as validating that the problem existed or that we had the right form of the problem. And so we basically set up a structure where we wanted to do a full iteration in roughly 2 months from, hypothesizing that we think this is a problem, in parallel doing user interviews to nail down the exact nature of the problem while we were prototyping some solution to it, and then a month to get people to actually use the thing, do an iteration or two, and then decide whether to proceed or not. And that 2-month timeline basically worked out because we were able to do 6-ish iterations over the course of a year. Some of them were overlapping in some ways because there were sort of natural adjacencies. But that was the general spirit. And another really, really important point of the spirit for me is like, and this required some unlearning after having worked at the scale of Google, is like, you do not have time for statistical significance when you are like prototyping an early product in the desert, because it's so hard to get even 10 people to try something that you've used. And so you just have to trust your intuition. Like, it's going to be a mixed, messy signal. You're probably not going to try to build something totally stupid. You're probably also not going to build something totally useless. You're probably also not going to build something in a month that's a total obvious slam dunk success. And so, you just have to trust your founder intuition that in that gray area between promise and false hope, like, are you going to commit to continuing?